About a week after the midterm elections, we still have some of the biggest races in the country that are uncalled at this point. In Georgia, you've got the governor's race between Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams, which is too close to call. This is a state that a lot of Democrats have really been watching, in part because Stacey Abrams has been a really compelling candidate this cycle, but it's also a state where you've had changing demographics that have made it a possibility for a Democrat to get as close as Abrams has gotten. In Florida, you have a situation where you have two marquee races going to a recount. This is the governor's race between Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis, and the Senate race between Rick Scott and Bill Nelson. The Senate race is the closest of the two. That is a very narrow margin right now, and depending on what happens over the next couple of days as counties report their vote, that race could actually go to a hand recount, which would be akin to what we all remember from 2000 in Florida, where you have people literally sifting through ballots by hand trying to recount that race. But Florida has been really the focus of President Trump's attention, and what he's been doing is trying to cast doubt on the results there, trying to cast doubt on any recount efforts. And it's an interesting strategy for the president because at this point, the Republican candidates are up. But this is part of a pattern for President Trump. If you look back at the 2016 campaign, before Election Day, he was suggesting that he might not accept the results of those elections if he lost. So when he sees a result in a race or anticipates a result that he doesn't like, one of his first moves is to call into question the integrity of that election. Florida is particularly significant because it's a hugely important presidential battleground state. And if you have the governor's mansion in Florida in particular, you really get a big advantage heading into a presidential race. You have more infrastructure, more control just around voting laws and things that can really make a difference in a presidential race. It also signifies where that state is politically if you're watching and thinking about how you're going to run if you're President Trump or a Democrat.